Well, welcome to Smith Memorial Presbyterian Church. My name is Brad Busick, and I'm the pastor here, and I've been serving this church for about 5 years or so. And I want to let you know that this community that you live in, this Gresham area, East Multnomah County, Fairview, Troutdale, Will Village, this community that you live in is an awesome community. It's filled with amazing people. And this community has lots of talent, lots of compassion, lots of caring people. And we are blessed at Smith Memorial Presbyterian Church just to have a segment of this community composed of people just like you who have a lot of love in their hearts and want to make this community a better place. Now, our church is located in Fairview on 223rd between Halsey and Interstate 84. We are one of the oldest churches in the area, and you might notice that Interstate 84 kind of bends around the church. We have been here a long time before a lot of roads around us were built. We were incorporated in the year 1890, but from our beginning we shared pastors with the Fairview Methodist Episcopal Church down the road, which was the first church in the area and started in 1853. And our two churches basically merged in 1929 when that church was closed. So you could say that we go way back to 1853. Now, we are similar to other churches all across this world in that we want to proclaim the good news of Jesus Christ. But furthermore, we want to help people in our community, no matter what their background is, to become healthier human beings, to grow and mature in a spirit of love. If you're having a hard time in a relationship, we want to support you and encourage you. We want to help you grow into a deeper capacity to love. And we want to help our community to also grow deeper in a spirit of love. In fact, I believe that God is already working in our community. God is helping you to get through all the mess of life, and God is working through you to encourage others. Although it may be hard to see at times, I think God is bringing hope and healing to our community even as we speak. Now, one of the neat things about this congregation is that we don't all share the same story. In fact, we all come from many different paths. We have many different perspectives, and I truly value that we have both liberal and conservative voices in our congregation. I think forming friendships with people who have different perspectives challenges us to love in deeper ways. We may not all have the same story, but deep inside, we have similar hopes. At this time, I want to share a little bit about the story of our church and some of the ways that we are impacting our community today. First of all, Smith Memorial, what is that about? What is that about? Smith Memorial. We have an awkward and long name. Now, for this question, I'm going to ask one of our older members.
It was started in 1890 by Hannah Smith in memory of her husband. And my great-grandparents were part of the original 12 that started this church. And there has been a Shaw family member here as a member ever since.
So the church was named after Hiram and Hannah Smith. They are the ones that donated land to the church and also to the public school that is across the street from the church named Fairview Elementary, in which we still have a very close relationship. And Presbyterian, what is that? Well, Presbyterian comes from the biblical Greek word presbyter, which means elder, and it describes how our church is organized and how decisions are made. We have an assembly of quote-unquote elders, you don't have to be old, who make decisions together so that power is not placed on one individual. And in fact, much of the United States government is based upon the Presbyterian system of representative democracy. Anyhow, that is where Smith Memorial Presbyterian comes from. Although we may have a long, funny name, our main identity is Christian. And we tend to emphasize that above all else, Christianity is about love. In fact, in all that we do, we try to do it in response to God's love, the love that God has had for this world and for you and for me from the very beginning. And so when it comes to being a church and when it comes to reading and interpreting the Bible, we do so through the lens of God's love in Jesus Christ. We are not fundamentalists. We are not bound to literal interpretations of the Bible. Instead, we bind ourselves to Christ and his love. We seek a balance. We balance social justice with evangelism. We hold that both men and women can equally serve in every leadership position of the church. We are inclusive in our welcome of all people, yet exclusive in that all that we do should flow from the love of Jesus.
I've been coming to Smith Memorial for about 6 years. One of the things that I love so much about being here is that we're a community and we're a part of the community. We are made up of different opinions and different likes and dislikes and different choices of activities that we want to engage in, but we can agree, and sometimes we can agree not to agree, but we can still work things out and we still worship together every Sunday. And that's the thing I really like about being at Smith Memorial.
Hi, you guys. Welcome to Smith Memorial Presbyterian Church. My name's Chase. This is a great church to be a part of. Right now we're in the process of putting together a playground for everyone to come and enjoy, and I hope to see you guys all here.
Since we started at about 1950 in this church and youth group, it's always been like the second family. They always help, everybody's there, and you build a lot of friendships with them and have over the many, many years.
Hi, Smith Memorial is so caring to the area and our community, and they've been great in helping, making sure that food is available for our Fairview families, and during this COVID time, and even before COVID, they were so wonderful in volunteering at the school and helping us to put together food packages for our families in need there.
Smith Memorial has opened their doors for Play East to come in and utilize the keyboards that have been in this classroom, and we provide piano lessons for kids from kindergarten through age 17.
Here at Smith Memorial Presbyterian Church, we have a youth program that we're very proud of called the Acts Theater Camp. And this is a camp that deals with theater skills for kids. One of the most exciting things is that these skills also relate to life skills, which help the kids beyond the idea of the theater. We're very fortunate to do this cooperatively with the Barnstormers Project, and we have a very talented lady who is the original founder of the Corbett Children's Theater, who is leading the instruction and so forth in the camp.
Well, howdy, I'm Jed. I'm the youth director here at Smith. So in Christianity, our God, Jesus, told us that we need to become like little kids in order to understand him, excited, able to learn easily, and looking forward to it. And so here, when we're teaching a lesson or going through a series that's geared towards children or youth, it's made to be fun, because fun memories are easy to remember. So if I want to create a lasting impression, a lesson that is worth remembering, I try and do it in an environment that has fun emotions tied to it. So we will do things like play a ridiculous game that involves spinning around in a circle and swinging a pool noodle at someone else's knee to hit them before yelling "Hail to the chicken," which somehow ties into the whole concept of the Good Samaritan. And it's a stretch sometimes, but once you get all the laughter out and all the giggling, it becomes a lot easier to have the kids sit down and participate in a conversation that suits their current state to receive information. So when we're teaching the values of going out of your way to show kindness, I try and provide examples, provide stories, provide biblical citations about that, because the Bible has so many wonderful stories about loving people. But I also try and make a game. So if the kid's trying to remember, what was the lesson about 2 weeks ago that I liked, they can tie it into oh, that's right. That was after we played dodgeball and we called it, hug ball or something similar like that.
When we came to Smith Memorial, we'd been going to another church for years, and so I was a little apprehensive, but immediately it was the people in the church that made me feel welcome and made me feel very comfortable, and I knew I'd found my new church home.
And I'll second that because I feel the same way. I just feel that the people there are so helpful, so welcoming, and that the message we get from the minister is absolutely perfect.
We go to Wednesday morning Bible study with a group of people. Right now, we can't go, but it's on Zoom. And we get to see people, which isn't really the same, but it's nice to see and be able to share with them. But we always get a message that helps us get through the rest of the week. We're happy there.
And I always enjoy the coffee hour afterwards.
And the cookies.
And the cookies. Yeah.
When I was looking for a church, I thought I needed big. And I looked at big churches, and I didn't feel family. I didn't feel welcomed. When I walked into Smith Memorial, that wasn't like effusive, but it was friendly, and people welcomed me into the church. And as soon as I walked in the sanctuary, I almost cried. Both sides of the sanctuary are full of this beautiful stained glass. I love glass, I work with glass, and I appreciate the hard work and the thought and creativity that went into both of these sets of glass. Well, the worship service, our pastor, Pastor Brad, he takes you on a journey. It's like he spins these stories, and he always has some scriptural background and meaning, and you kind of wonder how it's all going to end, and he brings it all together. And I really appreciate the teaching part, the research that he does, and he shares with the congregation.
This church, for me, has probably the most nicest people that you would ever want to turn around and come in contact with. You don't have to ask for help. It's almost like they know what you need. And I probably shouldn't bring this up here, but I will, because a lot of things happened to me when my wife passed away. And the thing about it was the church was really, really helpful when it came to helping me do what I needed to do to make her service good and everything like that. And even my father-in-law, who is not a very religious man, when you left my house that day, I asked him, I says, what did you think about Pastor Brad? And he told me, he says, I thought he was one of the most nicest men that I ever met in my life. And when he said that, I just about fell out of my chair because I've never heard him ever turn around and say that about a member of clergy, ever.
Used to hear the church bell ring when I was a kid, but as time went on, about 55 years ago, I decided to climb up on the roof in the middle of the night, ring the church bell. I was hanging off the gutter and dropped off the roof, and Mr. Doolin caught me and said, what are you guys doing? How'd you get in the church? And I said, we weren't in the church, we were up on the roof. And he said, well, get out of here and don't come back. But I came back and been going to church here for many years. So, and then I felt so bad years later that I've been mowing the lawn here for 15 years or so, and this church bell, I haven't rang it since I was about 15 years old. So, should I ring it? How do you do it?
The reason I joined this church to begin with was because of the Gresham Chamber of Commerce. Cynthia O'Brien was pastor here at the time, and she invited everyone to come down and see the church. I listened to her sermons and thought it was a good fit for me. Of course, we've had a change since then, and Brad Busick is now our pastor. And the thing that I like most about the church alongside of the fellowship is the message that's brought weekly. The message that Brad brings is something that applies to today. A lot of people are trying to figure out how the Bible is relevant.
And it's only relevant if you can apply it to your life on a daily basis. And those messages that he brings now online are messages of truth and Bible and conviction. And those things bring together a symbiosis which helps people relate to the world and to each other and to share the love of God through Christ Jesus. And